What is up, dudes? It's Jeremy. Today we're going to be talking about the 13 reasons why season 1 finale, some spoilers, get ready for spoilers, just kind of an overall season discussion. I don't have a lot to say, but there's a few things I want to say. I was inclined enough to make a video and talk about these things. So I just wrapped up watching the last episode. And I want to preface everything that I'm about to say by saying this is not the type of show that I would generally be interested in. But of course, it's gotten a ton of traction, so much buzz about 13 Reasons Why, and so I decided to check it out. And there were a lot of things I liked, a lot of things I didn't like, but the first thing that I want to say is probably the biggest issue that I have with the season 1 finale and everything, is that I don't think this is a show that was destined to go on for seasons and seasons. There was a story, the story was told, and it should have been wrapped up. I was under the assumption from the beginning that this was a mini-series, and so I was very just kind of put off by the things that were left open. There wasn't any reason for those things to be left open that way. And I say this as someone who has watched How to Get Away with Murder, as someone who has watched Prison Break. Those shows had endings. They had endings, and they tried to build off of something that wasn't there, and it might have worked for a little while, but ultimately those shows, maybe ratings, maybe view wise, they did okay, but for me, like personally, and I did not like how any of those things turned out. Like I said, that's the biggest issue I have with the show. There's a lot of things that I liked. First of all, I really liked, as a whole, the storytelling of this show. A lot of the events that are taking place, a lot of the dialogue that's happening, I really wasn't crazy about. There were so many things that could have been eliminated for the sake of a 1-hour show. There's a lot of, you have to have some filler. I get that. And that's just where we're in a world where TV shows are more popular than some of the biggest films. There's going to be some filler. That's fine. I don't think the show had an excessive amount. Like I said, the storytelling was the most interesting to me. All of the flashbacks and things like that, or switching color. We're going from warm temperature to cool and stuff like that. It was interesting, and it kept me, engaged in the show. But what really got me, what hit me so hard watching this show, was that last episode, watching her actually commit suicide. Very graphic. I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not very well informed on the psychological aspect of people going through that type of thing. What I know are things that I've seen, stories that I've read. I don't know anyone personally. I don't know anything that's affected like this, but the show, it made it seem very real. I also felt, when the mother comes in and she discovers her, that felt so real. It hit me so hard. It was one of the hardest things that I've had to watch in recent memory. And I just watched Dear Zachary for the first time not so long ago, so this is up there with that. Anyways, overall, I enjoyed the show. I'm mostly here. I would love to get some more thoughts from others. I want to know what your thoughts are on the show, especially that last scene. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot to go off of. Just my experience, or lack thereof, stories that I've read. That's about it. So I'm very eager to hear what people have to say about that. The show seems to be pretty well received. And I'm also very anxious to know what people are thinking as far as doing a season 2 and moving on with the show. I know, like I said, they can push forward, they can milk it, but as someone, if I were to be making this show, right, if I were writing this, I would feel better about myself with killing it at the time that it should be done, and wrapping these things up and tying up all the loose ends in a way that should be done, not in a drawn out way. So I'm very curious to know what your thoughts are on that. Dudes, that's really all I have. I like the show. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend checking it out. I do. Like I say, it's not the type of show that I watch ever, but I enjoyed this a lot. So let me know what you're thinking. We'll see you in the next one, dudes. Thanks for watching.